have so many like updates. I feel like I should just save that for the end of the year. But I have become a plant mom, and suddenly I've birthed a ton of plant babies. But anyway, so hello. Welcome back to my channel. So I did talk about the books that I've read so far this year. And typically I do talk about everything I've watched, and I ran out of time. Last video, I was going to do that last video. And I was kind of debating if I should do this or not, but I do like talking about the stuff I've watched, and I will subject anybody who wants to listen, of course, to volunteer to listen to me. So you have to listen and be nice about it. I made a list of everything that I've been watching, and I'm trying to figure out if I need to. I probably should charge my phone also, but wait, let me just write it down here. Oh god, there's a problem with my Microsoft 365 subscription. Why can't everything just be free? Getting it for free from school for so many years was so nice. So it is mostly anime, but there's some, other non-anime stuff in here. So starting off is the name, I think it's Frieren. Well, it's Frieren, but it does feel more natural to say Frieren. But so I did start watching that. I'd been seeing it everywhere. It's one of those animes that, has become popular, and there's like certain images of it in particular. The titular character that I was seeing everywhere, she's an elf with white hair. And my first impression of the show, like just seeing the images, it's not what it ended up being, as far as like the main character is colder than I assumed she would be, like because she is the main character. She actually reminds me of the Apothecary Diaries main character, which I will talk about later. She is an elf, so she's older than most people, and then also the elves in that world are like, there's not that many of them. They're dying out. They don't reproduce that much, so there's just like not many of them. There's way more, like I would assume, humans probably than any other kind of magical creature or magical species or race. I don't know if this is like a common thing that's happening, but I do like that there's, at least with Frieren and the Apothecary Diaries, that there are main female characters that are not super girly. They're girls. They're girlish. They can be girlish. They're not like tomboys either. They're just like, I don't know, they're just themselves, which is, I appreciate that. Because I think like girl characters in particular can be stereotyped to be like a certain way. Meanwhile, like male characters have gotten a lot of variety. So it's nice to just see female characters just being themselves and having actual storyline. It does start a little slow, which I've seen people say, like slow-ish, but I personally liked that vibe. It is very relaxing and calming. I'm on the most recent arc of the anime so far, and that'll be it. I'm kind of drawing it out because, like, I hate when I start an anime that I don't realize is not, like, doesn't have a lot out yet, and then I'm like, oh, I have to wait for the new episode. I have to wait for the new season. But the, like, first, I think there's only two seasons, I think. I'm on the second season, I'm pretty sure. But just the first, like, the beginning of the anime, it is slower and very calm. There's also a melancholy to it. It's a little bittersweet. It's existential, because, again, the main character is very old. So she like has struggled with making connections with people because of the just mortality of other people. Aside from her, she's really old. She's immortal, from my understanding, is that she can live forever unless she would be killed. So, with that, and that's common with a lot of immortal characters, where they just don't really get close to people. In this world, like, people go on quests. That's like a thing. You can go on quests, you can go on adventures, journeys, kind of like the Lord of the Rings, where, there's people that can go on a journey. Like, it's not necessarily an occupation, but it's like a thing you do. Like, where there's things we do, like we go kayaking or camping. People go on quests. Her party, she gets close to them, in particular one character, him dying like much later after they've done their like journey, whatever. They all get old. So I know this is decades and decades later, but she looks the same, but they all die. Well, aside from one who's a dwarf, who he has an extended lifetime, but he will also die eventually. But the two human characters, they do die. And then again, the one that Frieren gets close to, and it has her reevaluating getting close with people and actually wanting to connect with people, despite the fact that human beings, have short lifespans. But so now Frieren is on a mission. The original mission with her original party was to defeat the Demon King, which they do. But now the mission is to get to this place. They're trying to get to this place, which I forget the name of actually, but somewhere up north. It's kind of like a heaven. It's not really heaven. I reason it as sort of like when the elves sail to the west in the Lord of the Rings, and it's like a paradise place that you can get to, but there's a lot of barriers to it. Not everybody can just waltz in. Like, that's how I imagine it. Although people do die and then go there. So that's one thing. That's one difference. That is Frieren's new mission with her new party. And of course, there's other things that happen along the way, which is where we get our story and like different little episodes and things. And I really have been enjoying it. I like when they go into like random towns, interact with the locals. There's good world building that way. I love that form of world building where we actually meet the regular people outside of the main cast, because it does make the world feel lived in. I don't know, but it's just so calming. It's really nice for my anxiety. Like the music, the vibes. I love fantasy, so it's right up my alley. And I like Fern. I think she's adorable. And I like when she gets mad. Well, Frieren is adorable too. She's like a little grandma with her white hair, and she has an inability to wake up. Like, people have to nudge her awake. I kind of can relate. Just more like I sleep like a rock. I will sleep through hurricanes, storms, lightning. I have a prediction. I haven't read, I don't know how far the manga is compared to the anime, but I do have a prediction of how the end would go, and I hope it's a good ending. I hope it's what I'm imagining, just because I'm just a romantic deep inside. Is there any more praises I can throw at this? I like the animation. The action, it's like I said, it is slow, but there is action, and it's quite good. It fits into the plot when it's needed well. Frieren is a mage, and so is Fern. So there's a lot of cool magic-y things, and their other member of their party is like they call him like a frontline person, but he's basically like a warrior. He's a fighter, so he's strong, and he's the brute force. Yeah, I do find it fascinating that when things are set in fantasy, I mean, that happens in like America and stuff, where we set things in fantasy as a medieval setting, but I noticed Japan does that a lot, where certain things that if they're fantastical, you get a lot of European-esque worlds. So like the same thing with Black Clover, it's very obviously European inspired, like the names, the architecture, the fashion. Moving on, I mentioned Frieren, and there's a similarity with the female main character in that anime to the female main character in the Apothecary Diaries. So the Apothecary Diaries, I started watching that because that's another one where I was seeing it around, and I just wanted to watch it because it's getting popular. It is popular. That's another one where like my first impression was different. I thought it was like a straight up romance anime. It's so much more than that. There's actually a lot of jokes within the fandom that it's like the romance. Poor Jinshi, the main male character of this, the romance often gets pushed aside for actual plot things. I don't know, it's sort of like a detective-y mystery sometimes. Apothecary Diaries, it is about a girl named Mao Mao. She's a young girl, she's a teenager, but like late teens, I believe. Yeah, she's like late teens. This is a Chinese-inspired world. It's not China, but it is very, very, very similar to like ancient old Chinese customs, architecture, fashion. Mao Mao, I don't want to like say too much to like not give away spoilers, but Mao Mao does grow up in the like pleasure district, the red light district of her town, her city, and she gets kidnapped one day. She also does have a father that she lives with, but she grows up primarily around a lot of courtesans and like, I don't want to say like, they are sex workers, but a lot of them did not. This is true to history, but also like in this anime, that a lot of the courtesans do not actually have sex with the men that they entertain. That's a higher price, you know what I mean? So, and good for them. So she grows up in this world that's like not quite the safest. She gets kidnapped, gets sold to the palace, and is forced to work there to pay off somebody's debt, I think. I have no idea, but she's forced to work there, and things happen to where she gets recognized for her intelligence because she's very, very smart. Love her character. She's great. She gets recognized and gets kind of recruited to, at first initially, be a poison tester because she loves poison. It's like a whole thing. She's a very strange girl. For one of the 4 concubines for the emperor. So he has a ton of concubines that he can visit, but there's 4 main ones. One of them is underage, is not one that the emperor visits. That's a whole thing too. His father was a predator and would purposely seek out younger girls. Again, a whole thing. Watch the anime, but it's handled really, really well. I actually really like how they handle it. In the anime, nothing is ever shown, nothing is ever graphic, but they just mention like, and it's looked on very negatively. Nothing at all about it is shown to be good at all. It's treated the way it should be treated, that's bad, and how damaging it is and was for those girls and women. Like even as they got older, they still hold a lot of resentment. There's 4 concubines, although one of them again is young. She's not in consideration at all. So there's a main one that the emperor does not, he favors her. They're not really in love. It's politics. Sucks. This is the beginning of the anime. She was pregnant, and then one of the like second kind of main concubine, so below the top one, she was also pregnant. Mao Mao finds out funny stuff was going on, and that's part of why she got recruited to help more. And because of her intelligence and just, she's a good person. So she can't really ignore certain things, and she gets kind of wrapped up in stuff that maybe she should mind her own business, but because she has a good heart, she ends up being kind of like the palace's detective. Like, no lie. No lie. And then the main male character, she catches his attention because of just, I don't know, she's very smart, and she tends to be right like 99.9% of the time. And it's really just it's so good. It's so good. I'm just like enraptured. I was enraptured because it came out every Friday. I don't know if the season is over. It might be. I've been waiting for every Friday when a new episode comes out because it's just so entertaining, and there is romance, but the romance is in the background. So also, you know, if you like to watch animes for romance, like it's there. It's just sprinkled in every once in a while. The main thing with the anime is basically like court politics, and I find that interesting. I think that was my first impression, again, that I thought it was a romance anime, and it's so much more than I realized, and I think that's part of why maybe I liked it so much. I mean, even if it was just straight up romance, I would still have loved it because I like romance too, but the fact that there's more is, I enjoy it. I like that the characters are not following a stereotype. Like, certain characters come on and you expect them to be a certain way, like the emperor, for example. He's very nice, very kind, very warm. There seemed to be in the beginning where the concubines, like one of them seemed like maybe she was going to be a bitch, but she's actually a very sweet person. She was going through something. She was going through a lot. Mao Mao's a badass bitch. Love her. Jinchi is a pretty princess. Because like in a lot of these animes, it's the male, like the main guy character that is very aggressive and forward. Not that Jinchi cannot be, because he can, but it's more Mao Mao that's the like that's the aggressor, and I say like aggressor very loosely, he seems to have a fetish for being mistreated. Mistreat is strong, again, also that's a strong word. She's not mean to him, she just kind of ignores him. I don't know, I think she, personally, my honest opinion right now, I feel like she enjoys making him suffer a little bit. And I can understand. Many of the characters, even the ones who have flaws, it's a good anime. I like it a lot. It's got a lot more depth than what I initially thought it would have. Not like romance can't have depth. It can obviously have, just meaning like my initial impression of it. It's so much more than what I thought it would be. Oh, thank God. For a second I thought I didn't start the voice recording. Like sitting here like, did I start it? So the next one I want to talk about is Witch Watch, and I think I just got it from like a random Reddit suggestion. I decided to watch this show. It's about a girl who is a witch. She has a childhood best friend who is like an ogre. Her childhood best friend, he has like these powers. He doesn't physically look like an ogre, but if he did, that'd be interesting though. But no, he just has the powers of a very strong monster. And so they split up, go their separate ways, grow up. They're both in high school now. She comes back. Her name is Nico. She comes back. She's growing into her witch powers. Her mother has her go to her childhood best friend, and he's going about his life trying to be semi-normal. He has like immense strength, like can pick up trucks and stuff, but he's hidden that because of just fear of, I don't know, being rejected, being judged, people being afraid of him. But so Nico comes back with her witchiness, her witch self, and obviously it's not quite normal. There are some mishaps, like there are situations where there's mishaps from her spells, but she's not quite that dumb where she just constantly makes mistakes. There are for the most part, oftentimes her spells, like casting in different episodes, seem to work pretty well. For a lot of the episodes, at least what I've been watching as of recent, it's getting more into, there's actually a new episode that I have to watch because it's being updated like weekly. I can't figure out the day that the episode comes out. It's like I tried to look and it just seems like it appears on my screen. Right now we're getting like more into story, like actual story where there's like a threat to Nico. I don't quite understand, like I know she's a witch and she's a good person anyway, but she has to help people, and that way she will become like a good witch.
Are you a good witch or a bad witch?
So she has to become a good witch, and the more she helps people, the like better she is as a witch, the better she is as a person. It's possible for her to become corrupted. The slice of life stuff came in early in the season so far, where it was kind of just like small things, and then now we're actually getting into a story where like there's somebody trying to get in control of her because she's apparently a very strong witch, like stronger than most, and I really like it. It is funny and lighthearted, but again, there's like actually a story. So I have been getting back into K-dramas a little bit. I feel like the K-dramas are just not hitting the way that they used to be. I feel that way about K-pop too, but I think that's just because, I don't know, I think there's a nostalgia. K-pop for sure is like, I got into K-pop a really long time ago, and like it's been more than 10 years now that I've been a K-pop fan. I'm just not keeping up with the groups as much as I was able to. I feel like I don't have time. Like I used to, I was in school, I didn't really like work full time, so I would have like days to sit and watch a variety show, watch music videos, listen to albums that just came out, and I feel like it's just an illusion. I feel like I'm thinking that I don't have time to do any of those things, and I probably do. I just don't do them. But I was like heavily into K-pop when BTS was active because they are my favorite group and like just one of my favorite artists, period. Like, and it's just it is fun to be in K-pop. So like being super excited for BTS's comebacks and stuff. I wanted to get into other groups, and like I was already into groups like casually. I was more of a girl group stan. Do you even use those words anymore? I was more of a girl group fan than I was into boy groups. And then I found, like, I liked Super Junior. It's kind of it. Like, I listened to other songs. I listened to Big Bang and stuff like that. But I found BTS, rest was history, and I just immediately became obsessed. Immediately. Honestly, some of the English song, like Permission to Dance, they lost me a little bit, but not lost me as a fan. I just wasn't as like hyped. But so they took a break. I think they really needed that break. Like, I remember they did this live right before some of them started going off into the military and before they took their hiatus. And I remember RM, I say Namjoon, but like, I want to act like I'm too familiar, but I've literally always just used their regular names. Literally, I was a fan since he was Rap Monster. He kind of didn't say it directly, but it seemed like he was not really feeling some of the music that they were putting out. I don't know if it was label pressure or pressure of breaking out into the mainstream Western music industry and feeling like they needed to do those things, but it didn't seem like they were particularly happy with what they were doing. So it seemed like they were, all of them in general were happy to take a break. So they went off to the military. Some of them like went, some of them stayed, some of them came back. Now they're all back, and there's going to be a comeback soon at some point. There's likely to be a tour. I'm probably going to be broke. I have friends that went to see them in New Jersey, and I didn't have the money, and I might not have the money this time around, and I don't know what to do. And it's just like so annoying, because I know there's going to be people that are going to be there that just got into them like yesterday, which is fine. You can love BTS if you just got into them yesterday, but I have been a fan since a little bit before, actually. So the HYYH era, and I know there's people that have been fans way before that, before me. So you guys should actually get first in line, give me second in line. Actually, I should have a reservation number because I did have a ticket for when they were coming to Orlando. I think it was Map of the Soul tour, and COVID came. Anyway, this is all to say that I was like big into the Korean pop culture scene. K-pop, K-dramas, K-beauty. But I kind of just, I think I got burnout, to be honest, especially with K-pop. There are just so many groups debuting, disbanding. There's an album, it feels like once a month, or there's like EPs, and then there's a full album, and there's tours, and there's merch, and it just got to be a little overwhelming. But so my existing groups that I really enjoy and like, I just kind of fell off keeping up with them. 17, 80s, Stray Kids, I fell off. I've not been keeping up to date with anything. And it's the same thing with K-dramas. I think with K-pop though, that was just more straight up burnout. I've been trying to get back into it, but I just like can't. Because I feel like there's so much to catch up on, and I feel out of the loop, and I feel so behind. But I have a friend who just started getting back into K-pop. I'm being slowly dragged back in. It's like somebody's pulling me by the scruff. With K-dramas, it's not really burnout with K-dramas, but I think the thing is with K-dramas is that when you first start watching them, you watch all the classic ones. So Boys Over Flowers, hate it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but I never actually finished it. I skipped to the last episode, got my conclusion, and also the bullying pisses me off so bad. So there's The Heirs, there's Love from Another Star, Descendants of the Sun, what other ones? Like I've seen like a lot of the famous K-dramas. When you watch all of those, then you're left with whatever's coming out, whatever's new, or maybe a drama that just like didn't quite hit. With new dramas, it is hit or miss, of course. The one that I'm watching right now, I really am enjoying. It has two actors I really like. The actor from, he's also, I forget these people's names. I don't know him that well. The actress I know, Park Shin-hye. I was and am a big fan of Park Shin-hye. Park Hyung-sik. He was in Strong Girl Do Bang-soo, which is like also another very popular K-drama that even non-K-drama watchers really got into, and it was really good, and he's really good in that, and he's just a good like comedic actor. So far I'm liking it. I was kind of like having an anxiety episode while I was watching Dr. Slump, starting it, and they talk about like mental health in this drama. I know that like South Korea in particular has taken slow-ish steps, but like within recent years have been with just looking at mental health as a very serious thing. And so it's like in this drama, The two main characters, they are doctors. They were rivals in school where they were both the top student. And the main male character, he became like a very famous plastic surgeon. The female main character, she worked hard, studied hard, became a doctor, but she's not really living the life that she wanted to live. But she's working under a like professor, and he's an asshole. She ends up quitting, and then something happens for Hyung-sik's character where he is in trouble for like a patient dying during surgery, and so he's losing credibility, fame, money, his position in the medical community and just in society in general, because he also has like a very popular, they call it NeoTube on the show. It's supposed to be like a YouTube. So they're both in a slump. She quit her job. He's could potentially go to prison for, they think he intentionally killed this person. He did not. And that's not a spoiler. He did not. They're having a rough time. And so this is what we're dealing with in the drama. And when you're not feeling great, it's nice to watch other people not do great, to see, even if it's in a fictional setting, how other people deal with it, and just like the things that they might say to themselves or to other people, or what other people might say to them to encourage them that might influence a viewer. It definitely helped me, just where it's being acknowledged that we just, as human beings, we go through the worst sometimes. Right now, it feels like it's pretty bad right now, socially, politically, environmentally. It's not great. I just became interested in K-dramas, became uninterested for a little time. I wasn't really seeing anything I wanted to watch, but it feels nice to get back into the K-drama thing, just because that was kind of like my happy place. That's where I would feel calm, and I would put that on. I think I've mentioned my love for period pieces. I love a good period piece, primarily for the fashion. Basically, I've been watching The Gilded Age on HBO. I've watched every season so far from the beginning it premiered, and I just love watching it, again, primarily for the fashion. It does have a plot line, there's several different characters. I'm following them. It's just I'm really watching for those dresses. The fashion is just like phenomenal. They do a lot of recreating of actual dresses from back then. The Gilded Age is like I thought it was the late 1800s. Yeah. So the Gilded Age, if you're not familiar, it's a time in America where the term like robber barons became very popular, which I think we're literally in a second Gilded Age, where it's just some people were so rich that it was unfathomable, and they had no business being that rich. A lot of it too is just like, it was a time where there was just like not a lot of regulations, people were being overworked, and the poor were very poor, rich were too rich, where like people shouldn't be that rich while people are not getting enough money to do like basic things. It was also a time too where, America in general, I know there's people who go like way back, whatever, but like it's not similar to like in Europe and stuff, where people have a name going back to like medieval times. In America, people came here, some were forcibly brought here, but people came here and then built up riches, oftentimes on the backs of people. Sometimes somebody just got lucky and they had like a good invention and they were able to make money from that. So the Gilded Age was also a time where, because the people that did come to America to colonize, a lot of people made their money from, slavery. So they had wealth. Some of them had wealth going back to like England or like wherever they came from. Just they would have wealth that went on for generations and generations. They were the old money. And then the Gilded Age was a time where some people were able to become rich, and they were new rich, so they were new money. And so it was also like a clash between some of those people. This is also a time, especially in New York, where it's set, is there was a black upper class, and there is a black character on the show who is representative of the black upper class. Anyway, so there's different plot lines, there's a lot of characters, There's not really a main character, although it does seem to center around two families in particular. The black character is a main character sometimes. Sometimes she feels more like a side character, but it also, again, it does depend on who the episode is about, because she's had episodes where she seems to be more in the front. Like, there's not really a main character. It's kind of an ensemble. It's different from Downton Abbey, which the creators of the Gilded Age are the same as Downton Abbey. So, like, Downton Abbey has the one family, but this is different because it's like there's two families that live across the street from each other. One is old money, the other is new money. Then there's the black character and her family, the upper middle class, of a part of the upper middle class black community. It does focus on the, like Downton Abbey, where it would focus on the domestics, the servants, the help. It does focus on them as well. And then, like, sometimes there might be some other people thrown in, but it's just kind of about life back then. At the moment, some of the storylines are a little frivolous, but it does get serious. There's death. There's the black character at the moment. She's sick, and I don't think it's going to happen. I really doubt it, because they can't kill off their only black character, like their main black character. But yeah, she's sick right now, so she better get better, or else I'm coming into that writer's room. I never watched Downton Abbey. My mom did. She liked it. I don't think it's like a super in-depth look into the Gilded Age, I'll be honest. Some stuff is not super important, but I love the fashion, and I love some of the characters. The Mrs. Russell, she's kind of a bitch, but I love her. Mrs. Van Ryn, she's kind of a bitch, but I kind of love her. By default, I like the black character just because I'm rooting for everybody black. But also, she's just really cute. I like her, and she's from Florida, I'm pretty sure, so Florida girls unite. I'm trying to like find a way to explain the show, because there are different plot lines. There's not like a plot to describe where it's like a general plot. It's just following different people throughout the Gilded Age, people of different backgrounds, of different genders, ethnicities, sexual orientations, and just their life. So it was announced that Stranger Things, the last season, I guess it's split up, so it's going to be shown Thanksgiving, I think, Christmas, and then New Year's. Then the final, like the New Year's, the final episode for that is going to be like 2 hours long, which is really more like a movie than anything. But so I'm a huge fan of Stranger Things. I mean, it's not like a lot of people aren't big fans of it. It's a huge franchise and series, but I'm such a big fan of Stranger Things, and I binged watched season 3. The show was kind of emotionally taxing, that I felt like I had run a marathon after watching season 3. It was just exhausting. Like, you're worried about people dying. Stranger Things does have a thing where they kind of introduce secondary characters that you like, and then they kill them off. So they do have this thing where they don't really kill their darlings. The main characters tend to survive. That's why I'm scared. Because I don't know, I don't want any of the main cast to die, but like, it seems like that's gonna happen. Somebody's gonna die, and I can't do it. I can't. I think Stranger Things is one of those things I don't really have to explain. It's centers on a group of people, really, essentially, who all come together to kind of just fight this evil that the L11, she has psionic abilities. She was basically a lab experiment for the US government to spy on Russia. This is set in like the 80s, around the Cold War and everything. She, on a mission, using her powers to spy on the Russians, she is in this kind of like black space, and she comes across a monster of like another dimension, and because her abilities kind of just like have this ability to connect to other dimensions. I mean, she's one of the more powerful ones. There's other people in the series that do have powers. I think she's one of the more powerful ones. I don't know if the most powerful, but she's one of the more powerful ones, and she's so powerful that she can open like portals and stuff. And so she gets so scared. She's a little girl. So she gets so scared from this monster that she accidentally opens up a gate to an alternate dimension, which is basically like, I guess it's string theory. Not a physicist, so it's the opposite of our world. It's much like colder and like toxic. There are these eldritch horrors in this world. I mean, there's like just monsters and things things living in there, but there's this huge thing. Well, there's initially like this ancient being that kind of like becomes something. It's more like a presence, like chaos. So it's like not a thing, and then it becomes a thing, and it is sentient. It is a monster made up of like scary clouds, but it's sentient and seems to want to like take over the world for really no particular reason other than it's just evil. Yeah. We have like government conspiracies, we have high school, we have eldritch horrors wanting to take over the world, and we have the pains of growing up and falling in love and being young and stuff. We got variety. There's family dynamics, friendships. It's basically like a Scooby Gang kind of thing. And Scooby Gangs it's one of my favorite tropes. I love when a group of people come together to look for clues, to figure out how to fight something, to beat something. And I love when, I would say it's more than found family, because there's groups of friends, there's actual family members, and they ultimately just come together to help each other. I like that teamwork. I like teamwork. I've mentioned Gintama. I don't know, I've mentioned it so many times, I don't know if I need to like reiterate, but I've been watching it, and at this point it's just something I put on at night, and I end up falling asleep 2 episodes because I just fall asleep, but it's kind of like a comfort to watch at night. It is hilarious. It's such a weird show. It's so weird because it'll be so sentimental to the point where like I want to cry, and then the most ridiculous stuff happens in later episodes, and it like goes back and forth between actually things being taken seriously and things not being taken seriously. It's so funny. It is a bizarre show, but it's great. I get why people love it. I don't even know if I'm anywhere near being done with it yet. It's a long show. Now I know all the inside jokes. I saw a tattoo of on Reddit. I think it was Gintoki using the shogun as a snowboard. So that's Gintama for you. The last thing I want to talk about, I need to go to bed, and I didn't think that I could possibly talk about all these things for at least an hour, but I have. The last thing is the War of the Rohirrim. I started that movie a while ago, and I was not feeling it, wasn't vibing with it, so I turned it off, and then I did not have an HBO Max subscription for a bit, and then I got it back recently to watch the Gilded Age, and I actually decided to finish it, and it is really, I enjoyed it a lot. It has flaws. It's not perfect, of course, but I enjoyed it. I think that it's more, some of the flaws are more in like the animation because of the director, the style, not just because it's anime, but like it's not a Western studio's interpretation of anime. It's from, it has a Japanese director. It was a big thing that it was in anime, the style of Japanese animation, and I've just seen so much better animation on random animes that I found on Crunchyroll. So sometimes the animation didn't look like quite how I would have wanted it to look. It looked more like a direct-to-video type of animation. It would get better for certain like fight scenes is what it would look best in. And so it seems like maybe some of the budget went more to like the fight scenes. It got me wrapped up. I was literally just like, I was falling asleep. Like I was getting tired because I put it on that like late at night, but it kept me awake. And towards the end with like some of the final battles and stuff, it was very good in my personal opinion. It had the elements of the Lord of the Rings, which not just like not the movies, the Lord of the Rings, but just the essence of Tolkien's work, of just like the emotion and the heart. Like it had that, and I appreciated that. I will say Hama, that's not baby boy, but period, point blank, I enjoyed the movie and I would watch it again. Anyway, I'm kind of in pain and I don't really know why. Okay, I'm gonna go take a shower, and that is it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.